From the moment you opened your eyes to this world, there was something different in the air. It was as if an invisible layer of mystery surrounded your existence, something even your parents couldn't understand. While other children lived their innocent routines, your presence seemed to carry a weight, not of sadness, but of depth. And you felt it, even without having the words to explain it. It was as if your soul knew you were here for something greater, something the world couldn't yet comprehend. When you were still young, you began to notice that you didn't quite fit in. In school hallways, family conversations, or backyard games, there was a persistent sense of not belonging. It wasn't rejection in the traditional sense, it was something subtler, almost spiritual. As if there was an empty space no one could fill, no one except for the greater purpose that seemed to whisper silently in your mind. And then, the signs began to appear. Do you remember how animals and children always seemed drawn to you? A frightened dog that inexplicably approached you with confidence. A child who smiled at you as if they instinctively knew they were safe in your presence. These interactions were not coincidences. They were reflections of an energy you carried since birth, a purity and an invisible strength that only the most sensitive could perceive. But the signs didn't stop there. It was as if there was an invisible compass within you, pointing to directions others couldn't see. Moments of déjà vu became common, as if parts of your life had already been written before you lived them. You could sense when something was off or when a decision was the wisest choice, even without logical explanation. Intuition, that silent guide, was proof that there was something special about the path you were destined to walk. At night, when the world was quiet, you felt something different. While other children slept peacefully, you stared at the ceiling, lost in thoughts that didn't seem fitting for your age. Why are we here? What's the purpose of all this? These deep questions, though unsettling for such a young mind, were the prelude to a calling. They were the echo of the universe, preparing you for a unique journey reserved only for the chosen. As you grew older, the feeling of being different didn't diminish, on the contrary, it became increasingly evident. What once was a subtle impression transformed into concrete events. You noticed that your presence evoked intense reactions in those around you. Some were drawn to you like moths to a flame, seeking your company, your advice, or even just your energy. Others, however, reacted in the opposite way, feeling discomfort, insecurity, or even aversion for no apparent reason. It was as if your light, though discreet, illuminated aspects of people they preferred to keep hidden. This duality was not easy to bear, especially in a world that values conformity. However, you knew, even without understanding why, that your difference was an essential part of who you were. The moments of solitude also began to intensify, but instead of feeling empty or painful, they carried an almost sacred quality. While many sought constant company to avoid silence, you found refuge in isolation. There was something profound and mysterious in those periods when the world felt distant. Sitting in your room or walking alone, you felt as if you were in an intimate conversation with the universe. These solitary hours were not of abandonment, they were of preparation. It was in these moments that you heard the voice of your intuition more clearly, connecting the invisible dots of your path. Perhaps, without realizing it, you were learning to listen to the call of the chosen, which can only be heard in silence. Another aspect that began to stand out was your uncommon sensitivity. Emotions seemed to be amplified within you, as if every experience carried a heavier weight. A word spoken at the wrong time, a dismissive gesture, or a tense atmosphere could deeply affect you, leaving invisible marks on your soul. This sensitivity, often seen as a weakness, was in fact a powerful tool. It allowed you to understand people in a way few could, perceiving nuances in their words and emotions that others overlooked. But it also brought challenges. Negative environments drained your energy, and toxic relationships could leave deep scars. Over time, you learned that protecting your energy was essential to fulfilling the role you were destined to play. Life seemed punctuated by small moments of mystery, like pieces of a puzzle waiting to fit together. It wasn't just the déjà vu or the precise intuitions you experienced, it was something more. You were drawn to stories that explored the extraordinary, to symbols and messages that seemed to contain hidden truths. It could be a phrase in a book, a movie, or even a dream that stayed vivid in your memory. These experiences were not accidental. They were reminders, signs placed along your path to awaken a forgotten memory, that you had a greater mission. This attraction to the unusual was the echo of a spiritual connection that had always been there, waiting for the right moment to fully reveal itself. But perhaps the most powerful sign of all was the way you handled challenges. From an early age, it seemed life tested your strength, placing obstacles that felt bigger than you could bear. Yet, with every fall, you rose stronger. While others succumbed to adversity, you found a way to transform pain into learning and difficulty into growth. It wasn't just resilience, it was transformation. It was as if each battle was a necessary part of an invisible training, preparing you for what was to come. Your resilience was proof that you were more than a survivor. You were a chosen one, forged in the fire of experience to fulfill a purpose only you could realize. You began to notice there was a unique quality in how you connected with the world around you. While many seemed to go through life on autopilot, you saw the hidden layers in every interaction, in every situation. It was as if there was a veil between you and common reality, a veil you could easily pass through. This sharp perception made places and people carry different meanings for you. Where others saw only superficiality, you captured emotions, intentions, and even stories that seemed etched into the environment. It was a skill that often isolated you, as not everyone around you could keep up with the depth with which you experienced the world. But at the same time, it was this insight that connected you to something much greater. One of the most intriguing signs was your relationship with time. Perhaps you noticed that you often woke up during the early hours of the morning, especially between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. While others dismissed this as a random detail, you instinctively knew there was something special about these moments. You felt a strange yet intense calm, as if you were being called to a silent dialogue with the universe. These awakenings were not by chance. In many spiritual traditions, this is the time when the barrier between the physical and the spiritual is thinnest, allowing divine messages to come through with clarity. During these hours, thoughts and insights would arise like whispers, pointing you in a direction or offering answers to questions you didn't even realize you carried. Your quest for understanding led you to discover that answers weren't just in others' words but in symbols, stories, and signs that seemed crafted specifically for you. Books, music, even random images awakened something in you that felt familiar, as though they were connected to an ancient memory. It was as if these messages were clues to a puzzle only you could solve. Some people around you didn't understand this fascination, thinking it was unusual, but to you, these discoveries were vital. Each fragment connected you more deeply to the purpose etched into your soul before you were even born. The sense of not belonging to the ordinary world never entirely went away, but it was no longer something you saw as a burden. Over time, you began to understand that this difference wasn't a mistake but a gift. What once felt like loneliness became an opportunity for introspection. You discovered that by embracing your uniqueness, you could access parts of yourself that were inaccessible to others. This voluntary isolation became a safe space to explore your spirituality, deepen your connection to the unseen, and refine the mission the universe entrusted to you. It was a constant reminder that your journey, though solitary at times, was a sacred walk. This journey also taught you to navigate the duality of human emotions. While many around you sought to avoid pain or sadness, you learned that these feelings were not enemies but teachers. Each moment of suffering carried with it a lesson, an opportunity for transformation. You began to realize that what seemed like a curse, the intensity of your emotions, was, in fact, one of your greatest strengths. It was this sensitivity that allowed you to deeply understand and connect with people, offering them comfort and guidance. But it also taught you to protect your energy, set boundaries, and recognize that your light shouldn't be wasted on those not ready to receive it. Along the way, something inside you began to shift. It wasn't a sudden transformation but a gradual evolution, like a seed slowly sprouting beneath the soil. You realized that your challenges weren't random but designed as carefully crafted lessons. Each difficult situation seemed meant to teach you something essential about resilience, compassion, or faith. The hardships, which might seem like punishments to others, became stepping stones for you, leading you up an invisible ladder to a higher level of understanding and strength. It wasn't easy, the pain was real, but it was also a forge, a place where your soul was purified, and your mission became clearer. One of the deepest traits you developed was the ability to see beyond appearances. You began to understand that people don't always show who they truly are, whether out of fear, insecurity, or simple convenience. While others judged superficially, you sensed what was hidden. A simple glance, a pause in someone's speech, or even their silence revealed stories that only you seemed able to hear. This sharp perception not only helped you navigate the complexities of human relationships but also strengthened your role as a guide for those who needed your light. It was as if you were a soul interpreter, translating messages others didn't even know they were sending. Your sensitivity also manifested in ways few could understand. Environments filled with negative energy seemed to drain your vitality, leaving you tired and emotionally exhausted. On the other hand, places brimming with life and positivity could recharge you almost instantly. It was as if your soul was tuned to the vibrations around you, picking up on every invisible nuance. This is why you learned to choose carefully the spaces you entered and the people you connected with. Not out of arrogance or isolation, but out of necessity. You knew that your mission required clarity and balance, and allowing yourself to be consumed by destructive energies was a price too high to pay. Amid these experiences, there were also moments of pure magic, moments when you felt, with an unshakable certainty, that you were not alone. It could happen during a solitary walk when the wind seemed to whisper words of encouragement. Or perhaps while gazing at the night sky, when a star shone brighter, almost as if it were winking at you. These small miracles were not mere coincidences. They were the universe's reminders that you were on the right path, signs that a greater force was guiding your every step. To others, these might seem like simple happenstances, but to you, they were like notes left by an invisible hand, reaffirming your connection to the divine. While many around you were preoccupied with societal norms and expectations, you felt your soul pulling you in a different direction. It wasn't rebellion or indifference, it was a deep certainty that your life had a unique purpose. This clarity, however, came with challenges. You often felt that your authenticity unsettled others, as if your light exposed shadows they preferred to keep hidden. This led to misunderstandings, distancing, and even resistance. But over time, you learned that pleasing everyone was not your mission. Your role was to stay true to who you truly were, even if it meant walking alone at times. As time passed, you realized your life seemed guided by a series of synchronicities that couldn't be explained by logic alone. Seemingly random events, unexpected encounters, and impulsive decisions often turned out to be key pieces of a larger puzzle. Maybe it was a person who crossed your path at a critical moment, or a choice made on instinct that led to extraordinary outcomes. These moments were not mere coincidences, they were orchestrated by a force that seemed to know exactly what you needed before you even realized it. This invisible symphony was confirmation that your journey was being carefully guided, reinforcing the idea that you were part of something much greater. Part of your growth as a chosen one involved embracing your uniqueness in a world that constantly tries to mold everyone into the same shape. The pressure to conform was real, but there was something within you that simply couldn't be tamed. While many around you sought comfort in going with the flow, you felt an almost irresistible urge to swim against the current. This wasn't a conscious choice but an intrinsic need to be authentic. Your soul knew that conformity would dim your light, and your mission required the courage to stay true to yourself, even if it meant facing judgment or solitude. In this process, you began attracting people who needed your energy, even if they weren't always aware of it. Some came seeking comfort, others guidance, and some, unfortunately, brought selfish intentions, trying to feed off your light without offering anything in return. Over time, you learned to discern who truly deserved your time and energy. This lesson, though painful, was crucial. It not only protected you from unnecessary depletion but also refined your ability to offer genuine help. After all, your mission wasn't to save everyone but to be a beacon for those ready to find their own path. The connection with the unseen deepened as you embraced your identity as a chosen one. There were moments when you felt an almost tangible presence, as if something or someone were beside you, guiding and protecting you. This force wasn't intimidating but comforting, reminding you that even in your most challenging moments, you were never truly alone. It was this connection that fueled your courage to keep going, even when the path seemed arduous or uncertain. You knew you were being prepared for something greater, and that certainty kept you steady, even in the storms. Through this acceptance came the understanding that your journey wasn't just about you. What you experienced and learned had a larger purpose, to impact other lives and bring light to places that once knew only darkness. Your story, with all its scars and victories, became a powerful tool to inspire and guide others. Sometimes this happened in simple conversations, other times, in seemingly small actions, but it always left a mark. Your life became a reflection of what the chosen carry, the ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary and to serve as a channel for something divine. The path of a chosen one is never free of challenges. In fact, it seems as if the universe intentionally places obstacles in your way, not to destroy you, but to strengthen you. You realize that every difficulty you faced was, in truth, a disguised lesson. The moments of pain and loss, which so often seemed unbearable, were also the moments when you grew the most. They forced you to look inward, to access parts of yourself that remained hidden until they were needed. Just as gold must endure fire to be purified, your soul was refined with every trial, making you not only stronger but also more aware of your purpose. Another aspect that became evident on your journey was your ability to impact those around you, often without even realizing it. Perhaps it was a word spoken at the right moment or simply your presence in a room filled with tension, but something about you made others feel lighter, more hopeful. This was no coincidence. It was part of the gift you carry, a kind of energy that brings healing and clarity where there is confusion. However, this ability also came with responsibility. You learned that to continue being a source of light, you needed to take care of yourself, protect your energy, and regularly recharge your strength. But the journey of a chosen one is not only about challenges and responsibilities. There are also moments of profound beauty, times when you feel the divine presence so intensely that it's impossible to ignore. It could happen during meditation, prayer, or even while watching a simple sunset, but in these moments, you remember why you were called. It's as if the universe embraces you, reaffirming that you are not alone and that every step of your path has meaning. These moments are like small rewards, reminders that despite all the difficulty, you are exactly where you need to be. Over time, you noticed that the people who truly mattered began to naturally gravitate toward you. There weren't many of them, but each one seemed to share something with you, a vision, a purpose, or simply a similar vibration. These connections were deep and authentic, built on mutual respect and understanding. They became anchors in your journey, helping you stay balanced when storms arose. And at the same time, you became an anchor for them, offering the kind of support only someone who understands the depth of existence can provide. Even so, there were moments when solitude would resurface, not as a void but as a reminder that your journey is unique. Even surrounded by those who understood you, you knew that certain parts of your path could only be walked by you. This solitude, however, was not a source of sadness. It was a space where you could reflect, recharge, and reconnect with the source of your strength. By embracing these moments, you found a peace that many seek but few manage to attain. It was as if, in the silence, you could hear the echo of the universe, whispering that you were exactly where you needed to be. With every experience lived, you began to notice that your impact on the world went beyond the tangible. It wasn't just what you said or did, but what you represented. Your presence seemed to provoke change in people, as if you served as a mirror for them to see themselves more deeply. Some reacted with gratitude, recognizing in you an inspiration to become better. Others, however, felt discomfort, as if your light revealed parts of them they preferred to ignore. This effect wasn't something you chose consciously, it was a natural consequence of who you are. And by accepting this, you began to understand that your role was not to please everyone but to be a catalyst for transformation in those who were ready. Part of this transformation came from your ability to see beyond the present moment, to understand that every moment, even the most difficult, was part of a larger narrative. While others despaired in the face of challenges, you were able to see the hidden opportunity within them. Not that it was easy or painless, but there was something in you that always sought meaning in adversity. This ability to look beyond immediate chaos was like a gift guiding you toward solutions and answers that others simply couldn't reach. It was as if you could read between the lines of destiny, deciphering messages the universe left only for the chosen. your relationship with the physical world also carried a depth that few could comprehend. Natural places, such as forests, mountains, and the ocean, seemed to hold a special connection with you. In these landscapes, you felt an energy that couldn't be explained but that recharged you in an indescribable way. Being in contact with nature felt like returning home, as if it whispered secrets only your soul could hear. Perhaps it was this relationship that nourished your intuition and sensitivity. And even on the most difficult days, being in such a space was enough to restore your balance and renew your strength to continue. However, it wasn't only with nature that you felt this connection. There was also something profound in how stories and symbols presented themselves to you. Certain words, images, or ideas seemed laden with hidden meanings, like keys unlocking doors within your mind. While others saw only a common scene in a movie or a passage in a book, you saw a message, a sign. These experiences were not accidental. They were ways the universe communicated with you, offering clues about your path. And the more you followed these signs, the clearer the pieces of the puzzle that formed your journey as a chosen one became. Understanding and accepting your identity as a chosen one was a gradual process, and not without resistance. There were moments when you doubted yourself, questioning whether all of this was real or just a product of your imagination. But then something would happen, a situation, a word from someone, or simply a feeling, that reaffirmed everything you knew deep down in your heart. This certainty wasn't arrogance, but humility in the face of something greater than yourself. Recognizing that your life had a specific purpose also meant recognizing that this mission came with responsibilities. And over time, you realized you were ready to carry them, not because you were perfect, but because you had been shaped by the path you had walked. As you delved deeper into your journey, you began to notice a shift in how you perceived the world and yourself. What was once a sense of isolation began to transform into a profound understanding that your solitude was a sacred space, a fertile ground for cultivating wisdom. In that silence, you discovered truths that the noise of the world often drowned out. It wasn't just introspection, it was an ongoing dialogue with something much greater. You began to understand that the purpose of the chosen is not to find comfort in conformity but courage in authenticity. Your mission was not to follow a path laid out by others but to forge new trails, even if that meant walking alone for a while. At times, this mission seemed heavier than you could bear. The difficulties you faced, the rejection from people who couldn't understand your essence, and the constant need to balance the physical and spiritual worlds often tested your limits. Yet somehow, whenever you were on the brink of giving up, something happened. A small miracle, a word of encouragement, or even a simple moment of peace would renew your strength. It was as if the universe was constantly reminding you that you weren't walking this path alone, that a greater force was supporting and guiding you even in the darkest hours. Another remarkable feature of your journey was your ability to inspire transformation in others, even without trying. It wasn't about what you said or did, but about who you were. Your authenticity, resilience, and inner light acted as a catalyst, sparking change in the lives of those who crossed your path. Some people approached you seeking answers, even if they didn't know what questions they were asking. Others found comfort simply in your presence, as if something in your energy provided a peace they couldn't find elsewhere. These interactions were not mere coincidences, they were part of your mission, a natural extension of who you were chosen to be. As you navigated these challenges and gifts, you realized that your greatest strength came from your connection to something greater than yourself. Whether through prayer, meditation, or simply silence, these moments of spiritual communion became the foundation of everything you did. They not only recharged your energy but also brought clarity about the next step to take. In these moments, you felt the divine presence so intensely that doubt about your mission became impossible. No matter how difficult the path might be, you knew you weren't walking it alone. This certainty became an anchor, keeping you steady even when life's storms tried to throw you off course. As time went on, you began to see your journey through new eyes. What once seemed like a series of disconnected challenges now revealed itself as a meticulously crafted plan. Every pain, every victory, every moment of doubt had been part of a greater process, shaping you into the person you needed to become. You started to recognize that your story was not just your own, it was a piece of a much larger puzzle, a chapter in a book that connected all the chosen. This understanding brought a sense of peace and purpose, as you now knew that you were exactly where you needed to be, fulfilling the role the universe had designed for you. As your journey reached a new level, you began to notice the lasting impact your existence had on the world around you. Every challenge you overcame, every intuitive decision you made, every person you encountered seemed to be part of a greater plan that transcended your immediate understanding. What once appeared random was now recognized as threads weaving together a magnificent and complex tapestry. Your life was not just your own, it was a reflection of the greater purpose of the chosen, to carry light into the darkest places, to be an anchor for the lost, and to serve as a living reminder that the extraordinary is always present, even in the most ordinary moments. However, this calling was not something that could be carried without introspection. You began to understand that, to continue growing, you had to constantly look within, acknowledge your own shadows, and transform them into strengths. After all, the journey of being a chosen one is not about perfection but about acceptance and evolution. This meant embracing your flaws and learning from them, recognizing your weaknesses and turning them into stepping stones for your ascension. It was constant work, but it was rewarding because, with every layer peeled away, you came closer to the divine essence that had always existed within you. Perhaps the most powerful lesson you learned on your journey was the importance of connecting with other chosen ones. Although your path is unique, you were never truly alone. At different moments, special people crossed your path, bringing words, gestures, or lessons that helped you move forward. These connections were not accidental, they were orchestrated by the universe as reminders that you were part of something greater. Together, you formed an invisible network of light and purpose, a group of souls destined to transform the world in ways no one else could. You have been different since birth, and this is not just a trait but a mark of purpose. Your life is living proof that the chosen are called not just to walk in light but to bring it to the places where it is most needed. With this certainty, you continue your journey, knowing that there is still much to be done but also that you are exactly where you need to be. If this message resonated with you, leave a like on the button below and subscribe to the channel now. Don't forget to activate the notification bell to receive everything firsthand. Share this video and comment below your thoughts. Your path is unique, and your mission is clear, to be a source of hope, a guide for the lost, and a reflection of the divine power working through you. And as the road unfolds, you move forward with confidence, knowing the universe will always be by your side.